Okay, so let's get started. Now it's 5 past. So I just want to welcome those who have just joined us. So today's Quick Learn, we'll be covering how to import new customer records, such in a batch, into your Sage 50 account software, rather than entering them on an individual basis. So this is what we're going to be covering on today's session. So I'm going to introduce the benefits of importing records into your software. I will then demonstrate how to import new customer records, but also how you can make changes to existing records by exporting and re-importing if you are not using the batch changes option. At the end of the demonstration, I will then come back to my slides to summarize the session and talk about upcoming webinars. Please do keep your questions coming throughout the session, so either me, Jackie or Michael can pick those up as well. So you might be asking, why would I use the import option? So if you have a large amount of data that you want to enter, or you want to make changes to multiple records, you can save time by importing the information. So this brings all the data into your software in one go, rather than manually entering each individual record. So the uses of it is you can add new data, so records and transactions. You can also update existing data, but that's only going to be records only. So the benefits are it saves you time and it gives you flexibility as well. So you can, as you can see, as per the example on the screenshot, there's various things that you can import, but on this particular session today, I'm focusing on customer records. So what I'm going to do now is I am just going to go straight into the software and we'll have a look at what this process looks like. Okay, so first things first is I'm in my company here. I'm going to pop into my customer module so we can see at the moment I've got no records showing in my software. Now you might have a document that you've already created on an Excel sheet, or you might want to start using the import template. So we do have standard templates that you can use. I'm just going to get up this example here. So I've got my customers Sage import. I'm going to open this up. So this, you can open these up via the software. We'll be showing you shortly how to find that. So you can use your own document or you can use this template. The benefits of using the template is it's already in the correct format. So as you can see at the moment, I've already got mine pre-filled out, so you can see what it looks like. So the teal colour, so the bluey greeny colour is a mandatory field. So you can see if you hover over the column header, you can see information does pop up. So it says it's a required field. And you need to enter up to 8 characters, but it is alphanumeric, so it could be letters and numbers as well. Yellow is a non-mandatory field, so these are optional. And you can see this template is quite detailed as well, so you can actually add in quite a lot of information. So it does, like I say, it goes all the way right across. There's a lot of information you can be adding into here. But like I say, anything yellow is a mandatory field, is non-mandatory, sorry. So you can get away with literally just creating an account reference, and that would create the record for you once you import it. So as you can see, hovering over, it tells you the account name, street. So as we go through, it gives you information on how you can actually fill out these boxes as well. And as you can see, I don't have information in every single box either. Once you've filled out your document, you would just save it. And you will close it. You will need to make sure that the document is closed before you import, as it won't allow you if the document is still open. So we just pop back to my software. And we're going to import that file. So we're going to go to File along the top, and we're going to go into Import. If you do want to find those templates on the Welcome section, so the section 1, in here it says to help import your data, templates with the correct import structure are available here. If you click on here, it's going to open up the relevant folder, And as you can see, we've got audit trail, customer record, fixed assets, nominal, products, projects, stock and supplier as well. So all those templates are available free for you to use. The first step you need to be taking before you do import your data is to take a backup. It's really important that you do take a backup before you import, as you cannot reverse the import. So if you might have made a mistake when you've imported that information, at least if you've taken a backup, you can restore back to prior the import. So on today's session, I am going to do data files only. It's entirely up to you whether you do data files or if you want to do a full backup. You choose where you want to save it and click OK. I'm also going to check my data as well. So I've got no errors. It's fine that I've got a warning and I've got no comments. So there's nothing of concern at that moment. So I'm just going to close that down. And we'll let the backup take place. Once that backup is complete, we'll continue on in the next section. You can also do a backup just by doing file and backup first. It's entirely up to you whether you do it from within the data import window or just a manual backup. So I'll click OK. I can see a question's just come in there from Charlene. How do I get the templates? So if you go, I'll show you again. So if we just go to File in the top left, down to Import. And in this section here, so it'll say welcome. You can import data from Excel or files containing CSVs. Underneath it says to help you import your data, templates with the correct import structure are available. You just click what it says here, and that's going to open up the relevant folder with those templates in. Okay, so I've done my backup, so I am going to click next. So you're going to get the options and which one you want to choose to import. So today we're importing customer records. So I'll select that one and click next. Now you do have the option between an Excel worksheet and a comma separated file. So that's a CSV. To know which one you're working with, if we just look at my file, you can see at the end of my file, it says .xlsx. If that was a CSV file, it would say .csv. So I'm going to browse and I'm going to select that relevant file. So I know it's an XLSX file. So I'm going to click open. And as you can remember, though we had blue and yellow column headers, so I know that my first row does contain headings. Once I've selected that file, I'm going to click next. And because I'm using the template, it has automatically populated my mapping here. If you see that yours is blank, you would just click the drop down and select the relevant column that matches the relevant Sage field. So yours at the moment, because mine's got column headings and mine are labeled exactly the same, then it's going to look exactly the same, but you might just have letters, just a case of knowing which column is referring to which information. If we click next, you can see we now have a summary page that we're going to look at. So we know that we're importing customer records. We know that this is the file we've imported. We know that it's the customer template, and it does contain headers. It's telling me all the fields have been mapped as well. Once we're happy with that, we click import. And it's telling us that all the records have been imported. If you import and your information shows at the bottom on the bottom box, which shows records not imported, then it's not going to import any other records. And this means you've got errors with your document. Now, there could be many errors, and it could mean many different things. But what you can do is if you visit the Help Center, so if you've got version 29, you can click Help here. or you can just visit the Help Centre on the website. Now, I don't think the import errors article shows here, so what we can do is if we just search import errors, this article is going to tell us exactly what the import error means. So then that means that it'll support you in how to fix that record. So there's many different errors. You can click on a link and it's going to tell you exactly how to fix it. But if your information all shows at the top, that means it's imported successfully. So if I just click close, go into my customers, I now have my 9 records showing within my list. Now to change existing records within the software, so it might be I want to choose the top 3, and I might want to increase their credit limit from 3,000 to 5,000. Now, if you're using standard or professional variant of the software, you do have the batch changes option. So yours might show along the top because I've got a smaller screen. Mine's condensed down into a menu. So I've got the batch changes option there. You only get that if you're on standard or professional. If you have the essentials option variant, you won't have this option. And that's where this next part comes in. So what you can do is you can actually export your information out back into Excel, make the changes and import it back in. Now you can still do this on standard and professional if you didn't want to use the batch changes option. So what you want to be doing is highlighting the relevant records. You want to go into reports. You want to go down to customer details. And you have got the option between customer record and customer record extended, but the extended has just got more information rather than the standard. And as you can see per the description, it's designed to be output as a CSV and contains most common details and to be imported back in to Sage accounts or other applications. So if you export this out, make the changes and import it back in, it will just make changes to the existing record. So to export this, you can either click export here or you can export along the top. So if we click export, I'm just going to leave the file name as it is, but I'm going to change it. It's really important, this part. You want to change it from a PDF to a CSV file. So if we click on CSV and we click save, that's saved that for us. It's not going to open it automatically, but we will have to go and locate that file. So if I just bring that file up, so you can see now I've got one XLSX and I've got one CSV. So we're going to open up the CSV this time. And this is what has exported from my Sage software. So all it's taken is the information that's in that customer list and it's pushed it out into Excel. So we said we were going to change the credit limit. I'm just going to scroll along a little bit. And you can see my credit limit here is 3,000. And I just want to change that to 5,000. So make the relevant changes. If we scroll back and we're just going to save that document. As you noticed as well, this one doesn't have those column headers, so it's not required. So then when we come to import it, we don't need to tick that option. So if we've saved that document, and I'll click close, we'll minimize that. And we'll go to file, and then we're going to go back to import. I'm not going to take another one on this session, on this particular part, but do always make sure you take a backup when you do an import, just a reminder. So I'm just going to proceed. And then again, we're going to click customer records. And this time I'm going to show comma separated CSV so you can see what it looks like as well when we need to map out the document. So we're choosing the CSV file. So you can see now that box is no longer ticked, and we know that needs to be left unticked because we don't have column headers in that document. So we're going to click next. So as you can see, mine's now changed to A, B, C, D, E. You might come in here and yours might look like this, so it might not be mapped. You can actually load a map from here. So if you click load map, click on shared mappings. If you just chose the standard one, like what I have today, you would just choose customer record 2014. If you've chose the customer record extended report, then you would choose this mapping. So we chose the standard, so we're just going to choose this one here. I'm going to click open. So as you can see, it's populated all the relevant information for me and populated all those field mappings for me. So if we now click next, we've got the summary again, so customer record, which file we're importing. There was no column headers, and all fields have been mapped. So if we now click import, it's now updated those existing records in the software. So if I click close and go back to customers, you can now see those top three now have a credit limit of 5,000. So that's a case of importing and updating existing records in Sage 50 accounts. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop back to my my slides, sorry, and I'm going to summarize the session. You can see a question's just come through there from Kay. So does export take the information out of Sage, or does it still stay in the software? So it does stay in the software. It doesn't take it out physically. It just pushes that information into a report into Excel. So the information doesn't disappear from Sage. It just takes that information and pushes it through into Excel. Okay, let's pop back to my slides there. Okay, so to summarize the session, you always need to make sure that you're taking a backup prior to your import. Make sure your import document is closed prior to importing. Make sure there's no blank lines, so no empty lines between each entry. It should be consecutive. And account reference is 8 characters or less, and it is a mandatory field. Again, to find those import templates, you can either go to File, Import, and on that welcome page in section 1, there's that click here button. Or you can also go to Help and then About, into your program directory, and there's an Import Templates folder. Now you might be also wondering as well, what sort of other information can I import? So I just want to show you some information on our Help Center, which will show you what information can and can't be imported. And that's just before we start covering the upcoming webinar. So I just want to pop back to my software. And if we go into Help in the top right, alternatively, if you're on version 28 and below, you can also click on the Help Center option here, and that will take you to the browser. So we're going to search in here, what type of information can I import? If we click search on that, we've got an article here, what type of information can I import? It's really useful, this article, because it really drills down on what sort of thing you can and you can't import. So it tells you the different areas, so the audit trail transactions. Then it tells you what you can't import in the following. You've also got bank accounts, customer records, fixed assets, invoices and credits. So you can't import into that area. You've also got nominals, price lists. So there's loads of things where you can import, but there are some exceptions. So you need to be you may need to be aware of that as well. In that article, I'll just reiterate the title. So it's what type of information can I import? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just pop back to my slides there. Just a reminder, just to keep your questions coming, just while I go through the upcoming webinars. So if you're not sure how to ask a question, you can just open the questions panel on the right-hand side. You just click on the little speech bubble. So let's have a look at the upcoming webinars. So this is the key topics that we're covering over the next couple of weeks. So on Friday, so that's tomorrow, we've got the cash flow option at 11 AM. On Tuesday at 11 AM, we've got company archive. So that's learn what an archive is, how to create one, and how it can be used. We've also got the improved bank feeds. We've still got some sessions going on for the 29.2. We've got a quick learn on email and invoices, so that's email settings. We're also covering custom fields. Michael's going to be covering importing products. We've got some tips and tricks, VAT return, quick print and quick email options, and we've also got supplier payments as well. I've got a question from Susan there. Will we get the link to the slides for this topic? So there is no slides to download for this session, as it is demonstration mainly, so there's not much to the slides. Okay, so that does bring us to the end of today's session. Please feel free to stay around for the next couple of minutes or so if you are waiting for an answer to a question or you have any questions to ask. If you've got what you need to do and you want to leave the session, you will receive an email in around an hour or so with links to both our webinar schedule and today's recorded session for you to refer back to if needs be. Upon exiting the session, you will see a survey at the end. If you could please let us know any feedback regarding the session. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put myself on mute just to see if there's any outstanding questions I can support with. Okay, so majority of the questions seem to have been answered. So what I'll do now is I'll wrap the session up. I want to say thank you to Jackie and Michael who has been on hand today to answer your questions. Thank you to you all for your participation. Just a reminder, we've got plenty of sessions over the next couple of weeks, so don't be shy and get registered. So I want to say another thank you and take care.